Hello everybody, in today's video we're going to be going over a bit of a colder pattern which is going to be taking place over the eastern US. It's not going to be extremely cold, but we will have some temperatures dipping down into the 40s and the 50s, especially if you live in the Great Lakes or the Northeast. We're also going to be touching on the warmer temperatures in the Southwest, and then also there's a little bit of a threat of some mountain snow up in Wyoming, Montana, and a little bit of eastern Idaho, so we'll quickly cover that as well. Here's a look at the current National Weather Service page. As you can see, we have some air quality alerts in effect for the Northwest. We have some flood watches up for a little bit of Kansas and Missouri, as well as some parts of New Mexico. We have heat advisories scattered throughout parts of Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, and a little bit of Mississippi as well. But other than that, we don't have many other watches or warnings. Yesterday, we had a high temperature of 110 degrees in Death Valley, California, with a low temperature of 19 degrees, 35 miles west-southwest of Chote, Montana. The highest rainfall report was in East Amwell Township, New Jersey, where they got 8.9 inches of rainfall, and there were no snowfall reports yesterday. Here's a look at the European model, and this is the daily low temperature. So we're going to be timing this out over the next couple of days. What you're going to notice is that to start off, this would be for today. We're having a little bit of a colder air mass into the northeast, and then one more which eventually will move into the eastern US, but this one is going to be the one that you really want to pay attention to. This is going to be a big area of low pressure which is going to travel across the northern plains, and then eventually it'll find its way into along the east coast. So this is going to be moving to the east, and with it it'll bring some of the warmer temperatures. Ahead and right behind this area of colder temperatures is going to be some warmer temperatures, so there will be relief in between both of them. Something that you also want to pay attention to is that you will probably see a little bit of rain if you live within this area right here. It will probably just be about an inch or two at the max for most of these areas, but that is something that you want to pay attention to, and that should be reflected in the temperature map. You'll see a little bit of cooler temperatures in the middle of the country, and that's mainly on the days that it'll be raining for those areas. So here to be for Saturday, so this is tomorrow, and you can see that we have in those kind of white colors or almost light blue, that's where we're dealing with temperatures in the higher elevations of the Rockies, dealing with temperatures up between 30 and 40 degrees. So you're either dealing with frost in those areas, or you're actually dealing with a freeze in some of those spots. Once you get into kind of this color right here, that's 40 to 50 in that medium shade of blue. Once you're getting into that darker blue, transitioning into a yellow, that's where you're looking at 50 to 60, and then in the yellows, that's where you're 60 to 70. Oranges and above are going to be 70 degrees or higher for the low temperatures. So you're dealing with, again, that colder air mass all through western Canada and into the northwestern part of the U.S. We have a little bit of a trough into the east, and what's going to be happening is that this area of low pressure is going to be spiraling around another area of low pressure to the east. So these are going to spiral around each other, and that's going to allow them to interchange, and eventually this is going to slide to the south of this low pressure in eastern Canada. So that's what's going to be happening in the upper air, and that's why we're dealing with this pattern switch or pattern update. If we look at for Sunday of this week, you can see that we still have those warmer temperatures into the south central and southeastern U.S., and then up into the Rockies and the northern plains. It's getting a little bit chillier, but still you're into the 50s or 40s depending on your location. Again, it is getting a little bit chillier, but definitely nothing too severe by this point. And throughout this entire pattern, we're not going to be dealing with any really severe cold temperatures unless you live in the higher elevations of the Rockies, where you'll get down below freezing. But this is mostly just a warning for just going outside. There will be some temperatures that will be down in the 40s or 50s, so you're probably going to want maybe a light jacket in the morning, especially when you're going to work or school, because it'll be a little bit chilly. But again, nothing that's going to be too potent, nothing that's going to be too severe. This is just a little bit of an update just to get you ready for the next upcoming week. If we look at for Monday of this upcoming week, you can see that we have those really cold temperatures, or fairly cold temperatures for this time of year, into British Columbia. So those are temperatures that are getting down below freezing by this point. These are going to slowly slide to the south and east, not to the same degree, but they will slide to the south and east. And then as you get up into the eastern United States and the Great Lakes, this is where that original low pressure, which was over the northwest, has traveled to. So now you're dealing with 40s and 50s into parts of Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan. And again, you will still have some rather warm afternoon temperatures getting up into the 70s and even some low 80s in a few spots. It eventually makes its way into the northeast by Tuesday. So you can see here's the pocket of slightly cooler temperatures. We have low temperatures getting anywhere from 55 to about 45 degrees in most of these spots. So, especially if you live in parts of the interior northeast along some of the higher elevation regions, you're going to want to pay attention to this a little bit more. Along the coast, it'll be warmer, mainly near 55 to 60 degrees for your low temperatures. And of course, there are local effects. So, if you're living in more of a dense forested area, it will be colder than areas that will be more urban, just because the less dense areas usually don't have as much street lighting and things like that can warm up the temperatures just a little bit. So it's really going to be a local type of effect. But if you live a little bit farther away from most bigger cities, you should be in those mid 50s or those 60s. The bigger metro areas will probably be 1 or 2 or 3 degrees warmer. Here to be for Wednesday, and you can see it now starts to warm up in parts of the northeast, but it is cooling down again into these areas. So you're dealing with temperatures in the higher elevations getting into the 40s and 30s, and then into the northern plains, not as cold, but you're still looking at temperatures into the 40s and 50s for some of those spots. Here to be for Thursday, you can see that by the mid and late part of the week, you're going to be dealing with less potency to the colder air, but it'll also be more widespread. So now you're dealing with temperatures being in the 50s all the way down to Missouri and Tennessee and into the eastern United States. So it's further to the south, it's more widespread, but in terms of the intensity, we're not dealing with anything dipping below about 45 or 50 in most of these spots. If we move this on a little bit more, you can see that more it kind of localizes around parts of the northeast. Once again, we're dealing with temperatures in the mid 50s or even the lower 50s, but again, nothing too severe or nothing too impactful. If you look at the temperature anomalies, this is going to give you a good idea of where you're actually dealing with the below average temperatures and the warmer than average temperatures. We have cooler temperatures into the west, so for the Rockies and the northern plains, and also along the east coast as we get to tomorrow. And then we have a little bit of warmer temperatures squashed right in the middle. What we're dealing with again is one low pressure up into the west, and then another one which is going to be out into Atlantic Canada and also New England. These two are going to kind of spiral around each other, and that's what's going to allow this low pressure to slide over further to the south. So moving this on, you can see we have those colder temperatures. They continue to migrate further to the east, and you can see that in between each area of colder temperatures, there will be another area of warmer temperatures. So you have warmer temperatures in here, you have another zone of warmer temperatures right here, and then you have cooler temperatures in the middle. So you have cooler to the east of both of these zones and to the west, so you have a little bit of a middle area of cooler temperatures, and then on either side you'll have warmer temperatures, and that's generally how your pattern is going to be. So you'll be ranging anywhere from about 5 degrees above normal to 10 degrees below normal on any given day. So it's going to be probably a 15 or 20 degree temperature switch between each day or between each couple of days as you get a new set of high or low pressures to move into your area. If we move this on to Tuesday, you can see colder temperatures linger on to parts of the east, but it is getting a little bit warmer into parts of the west and into the central plains. Moving this on once more, here would be by Wednesday, you can see that area of cooler temperatures has moved out to the east, and now it's being replaced by another one, which starts up in the central and northern plains, and this one will again eventually move over to the east, and you can see that over the next frame for Thursday, that moves into the eastern United States, and then kind of just stays there for a little bit. So it'll be a couple degrees below normal as we start off right around September 10th. If we look at the 6 to 10 day outlook from the Climate Prediction Center, this goes from the 8th through to the 12th. You can see that there is a little narrow area of below normal temperatures into parts of the Tennessee and Ohio valleys, as well as the interior northeast. If you live out to the west or in the central United States, you're looking at probably being a little bit warmer than normal. Although again, even though it says warmer than normal, you could still have 1 or 2 days out of this time frame that are a little bit colder or chillier than normal. And then also along the immediate east coast, you're dealing with some slightly warmer temperatures as well from that 6 to 10 day time frame. If you look at the upper air map, you can see what's actually happening. So you have one system which is out into Atlantic Canada right here. You have another one which is up into Ontario in the Central Plains, and then you have a high pressure which is out further to the east. So this is what your upper air systems look like as we get to Sunday. If we move this on once more, you can see how they shift. So the new ones, the new systems that you're going to see is one predominant low pressure into the eastern United States, and then one predominant high pressure into the west. So it's a little bit more of a uniform type of pattern, and you still have that low pressure out in western Canada, but we have a little bit more of a uniformed pattern. We have one bigger trough into the eastern United States, and then you have one bigger ridge which moves up into parts of the west, and that's the main reason why most of this is happening. Again, it's that the kind of balance between having a little bit of chillier temperatures out west, which you see for a little bit of British Columbia, then the warmer temperatures in the middle for parts of the west, and then over the eastern United States you have another trough where you have your area of colder temperatures or low pressure, and then again you would see almost those oranges starting to pop up again into the Atlantic. So it's a trend where you have a low pressure next to a high pressure next to a low pressure next to a high pressure. So that's just going to continue, and that's normally how these types of patterns work. So it's going to be a fast moving pattern. We're going to see each day bring a different type of pattern and feel. So you're going to go from slightly cooler to maybe slightly warmer. It'll be an up and down type of pattern, but at least it will be on the drier side at least. So we're not going to be dealing with as much rainfall as parts of the southeast have been dealing with recently, especially for areas like Louisiana and Mississippi. And also those areas in the northeast will be able to recover from some of the flooding. We're not dealing with too much extra rainfall there. So again, that is going to wrap it up for today's video. Please consider liking the video, subscribing, and turning on notifications. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.